What's going on, guys? Bart here with Working the Shoot. Our first video on this channel will concentrate primarily as a wrestling channel. Um, there may be movies or songs that I cover that relate to wrestling, but on an overall topic, this channel will concentrate on wrestling and wrestling related topics. So I want to thank all of you for coming by. I hope that I can earn a subscription from you. I'm hoping to grow this channel. I do also have another channel called Tully Television that we cover movies and songs from pop culture, video games, all different types of things like that. But my love for wrestling has always been equal to those of comic books and stuff. It's helped me get through a lot of tough times in my life from my early youth to now. Um, I know that's why even the name of this channel is called Working the Shoot. I very well know that it's all a work, that the stories are scripted. The moves are done to not injure others purposely, but there are times that injuries do happen. There are times that uh, wrestlers have a passing due to complications of their wrestling career. So, yes, in a general sense, it is a play, so to speak, but there are real life consequences that come from doing this job. And one of those could be a legitimate injury or death that has happened through wrestling. But there's plenty of time to talk about all those unfortunate turns. Uh, we have plenty of time to talk about some of the greatest matches that have ever happened, predictions, results, all that beautiful stuff. But I just wanted to get into at least an introduction on why I like wrestling. When I was young, I did pick up on that it was something scripted or something that may not have been exactly real. And the only way I kind of realized that was, unfortunately, I grew up in a household from a very young age, in a home full of violence and those type of actions being perpetrated on different members of my family or on me as a child from different members of family. So I kind of had an understanding of what real punches looked like, what real kicks looked like, what real fighting looked like, and what people really looked like from a vicious fight. And so I kind of knew really from like the age 7 or 8 that they don't really fight the way I know people to fight, and the things they do to each other. I'm surprised that there's not more of an injury factor to these things, but. Um, as I got a little bit older, I started more understanding where the feeling of that came from and understanding that it is a work. There are occasions of shoots that happen. And if you're unfamiliar with what some of these terminologies mean, a work means that it's something that all parties involved know are going to happen. From the booker to the two participants or the tag teams or the teams that are involved, everyone's going to know in a general sense what the other team's going to do and this and that. A shoot is when, or you go into business for yourself, is when you do something that is not discussed or planned out or approved by anybody but yourself. And for whatever reason, those things have happened. A great example of that is Bruiser Brody versus Lex Luger in a steel cage match that happened down in South Florida many, many decades ago, to where Bruiser Brody didn't want to uh, do a work. He was shooting, so to speak. And maybe that's a topic we'll discuss one day down the road. But what I want this first video to also do, besides explain my love of wrestling, is I want to go over my top five favorite wrestlers that I grew up with and had a strong affinity for. Big fan of these men, uh, these legendary wrestling gods, so to speak. Um, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. And also, if you have any favorite wrestlers that are different from this list, let me know down below. What's your favorite era of wrestling? Again, all these topics will eventually be covered on this channel, but I just wanted, again, this initial video to give a little insight to why I enjoy wrestling. My first wrestler out of this list of five that has been my favorite pretty much over time has been Bret the Hitman Hart. He's worked for Stampede Wrestling, that's where he got his start. That's where his father owned that territory, that wrestling company up in Calgary. He worked for WWE, he worked for WCW. He has been multiple time heavyweight champion, multiple time intercontinental champion, multiple time tag team champion, King of the Ring winner. He's had legendary matches at WrestleMania against his brother, against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Great rivalries against Shawn Michaels. We all know or have an understanding of what happened at uh, the screw job at Survivor Series involving Bret the Hitman Hart. And unfortunately, he had to retire earlier than he was anticipating due to a concussion he had received from Goldberg when he had gotten a stiff kick to the head. Uh, Goldberg has been just a nuisance on wrestling. I'm not have been a big fan of him, even if you take out him taking Bret out early. But that's my number one overall pick. My number two pick is the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Okay, brother. Everything rises to the top like the cream that it is. Or something along those lines. Macho Man Randy Savage. He was really one of my first favorite characters growing up. I just thought he was really a macho man, like a cool dude and tough and rugged and someone that had a great looking wife and Miss Elizabeth. That was so perfect, those two. It was really an indication that even in real life, opposites attract sometimes. Because everyone says that she was such a woman's woman, like a not dainty, but like very humble, very reserved personality wise. Despite her being a beautiful woman and having the ability or the option to use her body really to make money, she always stayed very classy with her wardrobe. She never really did anything in like a sexy way or a spicy way. And that really worked well with the Macho Man Randy Savage, who was robust and over the top. And uh, some of his best stories have been revolved around Miss Elizabeth, around Hulk Hogan. And despite, again, me not liking Hulk Hogan, I do admit that the destruction of the Mega Powers was a great story overall. Macho Man even had a uh, great segment with Jake the Snake Roberts when he got bit by the his snake for real. And yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. Again, he was Intercontinental Champion, Heavyweight Champion. Worked for WCW. Worked for WWE. His family was a famous wrestling family, the Popple family. His brother recently passed away. Larry Popo, Leaping Larry Popo. Um, no children from the Macho Man Randy Savage, so unfortunately, I don't think we'll get to ever see another Popo wrestle and become a generational superstar. But the Macho Man Randy Savage has always had a special place in my heart. Number three, and again, this the order doesn't really mean that. At one point, all these guys took the top spot for me in different periods. Ric Flair, the Horseman, baby. Woo! Ric Flair. What can I say about Ric Flair that has been already said? 16-time world champion. Learjet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, SOB, uh, leader of one of the greatest factions of all time, the Four Horsemen, was a part of Evolution in WWE, performed for how many wrestling promotions? WWE, WCW, WWF has had great rivalries against the likes of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. So many great rivalries, so many great stories that you could do months of videos just on Ric Flair stories and matches and wrestling. Um, so Ric Flair definitely on that list for me as one of the top five greatest of all time. Again, this is just all of my opinion. Number four, Chris Jericho. Okay. Now, I will admit, in recent years, I've been a little disappointed with Chris Jericho and his performance in AEW. I think he's been doing too much shtick, too much um, BS wrestling stories. He has gotten himself to think that he is the best thing since sliced bread, and we should all feel that way about ourselves. But I feel like he's lost touch with himself a little bit on who he was initially. Um, but again, multiple time heavyweight champion for WWE. I'm trying to. He did hold the WCW World Title at one point. First AEW World Champion. That was where I think that after Chris Jericho lost that title in AEW, I think that's when he started falling off a bit. Uh, that promo of a little bit of the public was great, and then it seemed to uh, seem like he kind of lost it after that. I don't know why, but in an overall sense, his career to me has been stellar, even with this hiccup in AEW the last couple of years. But it's something I'm willing to bypass because of his overall career. Number five, last but not least, in any sort of way, is Randy Orton. Randall Keith Orton, son of Bob Orton, has exclusively only worked for the WWE. Multiple time tag team champion, multiple time intercontinental champion, multiple time world heavyweight champion. He has been a part of Evolution. He's been a part of such teams as Rated RKO, Bro RKO, oh no, Bro KO or something like that with Matt Riddle. He's had great rivalries against Triple H, Batista, Ric Flair, other superstars. Um, he is currently out due to injury. No telling whether he'll be making it back or not. He may have to retire. But whatever the case may be, I think his career has been stellar. He's had some issues with being rambunctious years ago, younger. He was kind of a dick to a lot of people. Um, but I think he has certainly matured over the years and has grown to be a great veteran for the locker room. And I hope that we get to see him return one day into the ring. But those are my picks for my top five favorite wrestlers. I want to know what yours are. You let me know down below if you agree with the list, and if you don't, I want to hear it too. Everyone is I'm open to hearing everyone's opinion. But this will wrap up the first official video for Working the Shoot at Wrestling with Bart. I hope that we can continue this journey of love for the wrestling business together. And until next time, peace, nothings.